Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Transparent Podcast. I have a very, very special guest with me today. Could you please introduce yourself, let them know your name and where you're from?
Hello, my name is Brandon Espino, and I'm from Miami, Florida, but I was born in New York. But I would say that Miami, Florida is really my home state.
Okay.
But I've been calling Colorado Springs home now for the past 7 years. So, yeah.
There it is. Appreciate that. So, just started off. A lot of my viewers, this their first time probably, viewing you, getting to know you. Could you just give them a quick little back story? How was life growing up? And then we'll kind of lead into kind of what you do right now.
Yeah, sure thing. So growing up for me, I was kind of, I stayed at home a lot. I'd say like past the age of 13. I used to be like an outdoor kid, and I would get involved a lot of times with the wrong crowds and be doing, malicious things and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But then I kind of became more of an indoors guy. Eventually I just I dropped out of college. Basically all I did was play video games and play guitar all day and eat pizza and occasionally lay down tile, which that was a whole thing. But one day a guy from AT&T came to replace the internet because I was a gamer at that time. If the internet went down at all, I was like, oh my god, I need to have that back on.
Yeah, what's going on?
He came over and he was telling me about AT&T. It was super cool. And I was like, well, what did you do before that? And he was like, well, I was in the Marines. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Literally that day, I went to the recruiter's office and I was like, I want to be in the military. So I just, picked a branch, which happened to be Air Force at the time, went into that. And that's how I ended up here in Colorado Springs. Wow. And I was doing space operations out at Schriever Air Force Base for 6 years. And then once I got out of there, I got into the military, I got into real estate from the military, and now here's what I'm doing.
Wow. That's quite the story there.
There's a lot of in-betweens.
Yeah. You go from college dropout, Wi-Fi down, military, look at me now.
Pretty much.
No, that's good, man. That's good. I appreciate that. So I wanted to ask you, just like growing up and everything, just in life in general, do you have like someone who inspires you or someone who motivates you as far as like either professionally or to just do the business, or I don't know if you may have multiple people, but just anyone in life that really motivates or inspires you to do whatever it is that you do?
Yeah, so there's definitely a couple people I have to give a shout out to. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to my mom.
Okay.
Mom, Stephanie, if you're watching, shout out to you. You're the biggest inspiration to me. Every day, what I do, a lot of it is for you. Second one is my lady, Shiree Rivera, who also does real estate. And in fact, you even had her on a podcast not too long ago. So she motivates me to get my butt in the second gear, to pick up that phone, to knock on the door. So thank you so much for being a great motivation for me. And then the other one is my older brother, who hopefully he'll be on your podcast at some point.
Okay. Chris
P, huge motivation. You go around him and you want to make more money. You want to be a better version of yourself. Yeah. And he spreads that to tons of people all over the world through his YouTube channel. But then me being his little brother, he gives that to me on the daily basis. There it is. So those are my big inspirations, really, I'd say, in my life right now.
Wow. Man, we appreciate that. That's good. That's good. You got to have that, that circle of, family, friends, significant others to kind of give you that, that juice to get up every day, get after. So really appreciate you sharing some of those people in your life. A quick question, because the viewers probably curious, but guys, so far this is my tallest guest. Where is the height range with you? Like, he obviously over 6 foot, but
so if you're asking the height range, I mean, it almost sounds like you're implying that I fluctuate in height throughout the day.
I actually am applying that, because you got some guys out there, you meet them in real life, they 5'4", but on they dating app or something,
Yeah, they're way bigger than
They're 6'2"? So what is your height range?
So in the morning, when I'm awake and I'm feeling lively, I've had a nice night of stretching out pretty long. I would say I'm around I'm a healthy 6'7".
Oh wow.
And as the day goes on and things kind of wear on me, I think I go up to around like 6'5". So I like to say I'm 6'6", but I probably fluctuate anything between 6'5" and 6'7" throughout the day.
All right. Hey, so we'll just give him 6'7", because today is a good day.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate that. And then I know you got a brother. Is he like 6 something too?
He's 6'4".
Okay.
He's 6'4", and I'll beat him up any day of the week.
Hey.
We'll have that on record.
hey, moving on. But all right, that's cool, man. So I wanted to ask, and for those watching, say there are some male viewers out there, young kids, 18, 21, what have you, and they're working a minimum wage job, single, no relationship, nothing like that. What is like the best possible advice you could give to, and almost you could even pair this question as like the 18-year-old you, knowing the stuff you know now and what have you. What is just some advice you could give to possibly a young viewer out there that's like 18 watching this, and just wants some type of advice in life, whether that be with their finances or, making smart moves in the future? What's like a piece of advice you probably could give to them?
So you're gonna probably fall into one or two categories. I hate to break things down that generally, but in order to, I guess, like maybe answer this in a way that makes any sort of legible sense.
Okay, dissect it for us.
Yeah, let's dissect that. So one or two groups. So you're either the 18-year-old dude who thinks that you know it all, and you think that you're smarter than everybody else, that you have the upper hand on everybody else. Yeah. You might actually be a lot smarter than everybody else, but guess what? It's something that I learned the hard way.
Uh-oh.
Being smart is only going to get you so far, and in fact, especially when you're a young man, that a lot of times is actually going to be an impediment to your success and growth, because you're going to believe that you don't need to do the hard work. Maybe you're the type of person who went through school without having to study, and you just kind of showed up, passed the test, and you got to the next phase of your life, and you think that you're God's gift to green earth, right? You're going to struggle mightily, and you're going to have several layers of reality checks that are going to teach you very, very, very rough lessons, and some of them are going to be permanent lessons. They might be ones in which now you're in jail. Now you're in a position in where you have to, work for the next 5 years to pay off a car that you bought that you should not have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's like, if you think that you don't have to learn it all from somebody maybe who's been there before, or like study the situation around you and try to be cautious about it, the world is going to be an excellent teacher for you. And so I have no advice for you really, other than go forward head first into it and learn for yourself, because that's the only way you're going to learn. That's the only way my 18-year-old self would have learned. And whether or not the world chews you up and spits you out, it is what it is. But we don't have any sympathy. The world doesn't have any sympathy for a young man that's not in this society. So you're going to either learn one way or the other. Your choice.
And can I talk to that specific viewer right now? Hey, he's telling y'all this right now. So you have the choice right now to listen when you see this podcast, to listen to his advice. Or like he said, if you don't listen, the world is just going to have at you.
Oh, yeah. And it could be your oyster too, but you always pay what you owe. You're always gonna reap what you sow too. So the other camp is the people who are like, they're kind of turned in a little bit. Yeah. They apologize for breathing. They apologize for encompassing the same space as everybody else.
Exhibit B.
This is Exhibit B over here. So this type of individual, I would say, you also have an ego problem. It's just that your ego problem is manifesting in a way in which you're so afraid to be seen and to branch out that you'd rather stay in your comfort zone and you'd rather stay in your bubble than be found out for what you are, which is a doughy 18-year-old that is actually weak and frail and useless in so many different ways. But I guess their advice would be, actually, you need to get out of your own way. You need to humble yourself in the way of, instead of just analyzing things about how you could and why everybody else has it and you don't, you need to just go do something challenging. I don't think going to, a university summer camp to pursue something that may or may not be of your benefit is gonna be to your personal development behoovement. It's not gonna help you. What's gonna help you is doing something hard. Go be a dishwasher. Go be a freaking go be a soldier. Go be something that is going to force you to grow, both physically, mentally, spiritually, you name it. Do something difficult, and then we'll ask questions later. That's about it. That's what I got for you.
Wow. Hey y'all, he giving y'all the real. I'm glad he's here. He's giving y'all the real. And like he said, he didn't want to halfway. He wanted to dissect it for you, because there may be some different types out there. But no, I appreciate that breakdown.
Absolutely.
We pretty much at Princeton right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much Princeton.
That's right.
Yeah, we at Princeton right now. So lesson 1 complete. Moving on. So moving into like some finance stuff, XYZ. Could you explain to anyone out there who may not know anything about anything, what is equity? Like, we hear a lot of terms when it comes to like real estate, this and that. Could you explain what is equity and how do you get it, or just break it down for the viewers?
So equity is a cheat code. Equity is a cheat code in life, because what's really nice about equity is that it's invisible dollars that are being made for you while you are sleeping.
Wow.
Life is about getting money while you're sleeping. That's not what life is about. But if you want to get to the next stage of life where you're not having to concern yourself so much with having to work every day to get, to provide for your basic needs, you're going to have to learn this tactic of acquiring money while you're not actually actively trading your time for it. Equity is one of those ways. Now, equity can be earned through a number of different ways. It can be earned through appreciation, which is essentially over the course of years or over the course of time, things that are precious become more valuable because it becomes more scarce or more demand. The value of our dollar is continuing to go down, and so therefore the price of the amount of equity that you're going to have and what your assets are worth are going to be more over time. Wow. So equity is something that you can build not only in real estate, but you can also build equity in, a vehicle. You can build equity in all sorts of things. And then there's different types of equity too, like trust equity. Like, how much trust do you have in each other? Like, if you're constantly not a trustworthy individual, then you have very low trust equity with your friends, and you can never really draw from that pool when you need it. So that's another little tidbit to 18-year-olds who like to break trust a lot. But when it comes to real estate, when it comes to owning valuable assets, equity is going to be one of the main driving forces when you decide one day you're in a position to own an asset or own real estate or owning a business. Having equity is going to get you to the next level.
Wow. For those of you who didn't know, including me, equity. Breakdown. It's layers to it. It's layers to it. Appreciate that. And then we got one more kind of like in that realm. What is house hacking? We hear this term a lot. I recently got a warm and fuzzy about it, but could you, if somebody out there brand new, first time hearing it, could you break down what is that exactly?
Yeah, so I'll break it down and then I'll give you an example of when I actually done the house hack, and that way you kind of like fill in the pieces of how that worked in that particular situation. So a house hack, at the very basics, just means you go ahead, you purchase real estate, some sort of property that other people can then move into as you're living in it. So let's say your mortgage is, $2,000, but you have 4 bedrooms. So let's say you're in 1 bedroom. Well, now you have 3 more bedrooms that potentially 3 other people could occupy. So let's say 3 other people occupy those bedrooms at I don't know, let's say to make the math easy,
Yeah, make it easy for them.
500 a piece. So 500, 500, 500, it's $1,500 a month of rental income that you're getting from the people that are inside those rooms. Now, your mortgage is $2,000. So essentially now what you're doing is you're paying $500 every month to pay off a mortgage, which is putting and generating more equity into your home.
Tying it together.
So it's free equity. It's essentially, it's not free. There's time, there's things that you have to put into that, but that's the gist of it. Okay. Let me give you an example. So back in 2019, I bought a house. It was 6 bedrooms, and it was a ranch. It was like 300,000 or something like that. It wasn't very updated, but it had 6 bedrooms, and that's why I bought it, is because I wanted to house hack it. And so I ended up being able to fill 5 bedrooms, and then I was in 1 bedroom. Now the house was very difficult to manage at times. I'll give you that. And with better planning, you can start to like circumvent some of those issues before they come about. Okay. But everybody was paying.
And I want. And he did the hard work for y'all.
Yeah.
Because so he's giving y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that come with it. You got to have your contracts. You got to have. You got to have a system of tracking your expenses in place. You have to be a leader amongst the people to also say, hey, here are the ground rules of the house. Here's how we're going to go about enforcing these regulations. Like, you can't just be, everybody's friend again at that point. You have to like steer towards a good outcome and mutual living in circumstances, which could be difficult, especially when you have a lot of different personalities and a lot of different backgrounds. So in that particular situation, I was getting $750 a room. So 750 times 5 is a lot. Yeah, so something like 3,500, something like that.
We like to do the math live for the viewers because they don't believe us.
Okay.
There you go.
So 750 times 5. That's $3,750 a month.
That's almost $4,000.
It's almost $4,000, and I was my mortgage with everything included was maybe $1,400, and so I'm making like $1,600 a month just off of rent, and then you get another house on top of that, which I had another house on top of that I was renting out for like $1,600, and then my mortgage is $1,000, and my monthly cash flow is like $2,000 with just 2 homes. So imagine how that can start to snowball, because now all the money you're making, instead of like dumping it into bills, now you can start to actually get that ball rolling and then use that extra income and start allocating it towards another investment and another investment, until you're just sitting on 10, 20 doors, and people are talking about their retirements at 55, and you're there talking about your rental income, which is far superior at 25. So that's the difference.
And you're building equity, right?
And you're building equity. It's something that you can always draw upon. It's like a savings account. You could always draw upon it to then go ahead and leverage into your next investment.
Wow. He probably giving y'all too much gems, but this transparent podcast, and you only get it on transparent podcast. Giving y'all the gems. But that's insane. Like,
house hacking. House hacking is a great way to start. You can really start to snowball into owning a lot of units if you start that way.
Man, and I'm glad you brought that example after the fact, because now that kind of puts it, because it was like, yeah, house hacking is this, and I was like, okay, it's occupying, blah, 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 but when you broke it down, it's like, this could be lucrative.
Absolutely.
If you play around, like you said, you got to think about the leadership in the house, this, and that. There's some other factors that go into it, but like you said, if you play it right.
Yeah, and it's just going to force you to grow as a person.
Wow.
Too. That's about it.
I love it. So just wanted to get into one kind of thing, I would say. One topic, question, or what have you. When it comes to like real estate, you have males, you have females in the same industry. Could you kind of just dive into what is it like, you obviously being in the industry, you may have a little bit of this and little other projects or what have you going on, but strictly as far as the real estate aspect, with you being in the industry, how have you, been as far as like with the women working in the industry? Have you noticed, like, I don't know, that it's good, it's bad? Are they outdoing the boys? Are the boys outdoing the girls? Is it equal? What have you experienced as far as like just an industry where it's like, and I don't know, is it male, female dominated? Just give us a little breakdown of like the industry.
Okay, this is a great question.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to tell you what my truth is. I'm going to tell the audience at home what my truth is. It may be controversial, maybe not. I don't know. Oh. But I'm just going to tell you what I think and what I've seen and what I've heard. And from you all dice it up the way you want it.
All right, he gave you the disclosure.
So,
yeah.
Being a real estate agent.
Okay,
agent that focuses on residential properties, like the buy and sell of regular homes, is a primarily female dominated sport. Let me say that again. That's a female dominated sport and industry. And when you think about it, is it really, really so surprising? I mean, women do have more when it comes in the way of empathy, more when it comes in the way of being able to be tactful with clients and be understanding, because for the residential buyer, a lot of times it's a very emotional process. And the men in the industry, they're like, like emotions, like whatever, just buy the thing. I don't understand. Just buy the thing. It's good. It's a good thing. Doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't buy it. But for the females in the industry, they tend to have more success in those kind of like, the families are trying to buy the house because they tend to be more, they just tend to have more empathy, right? However, when you start to transition into the residential and commercial side of real estate, which is the more like businessy side, more like when you start to transition more into that side of the field, then it becomes more male dominated. And what I've noticed is the big, I guess, differentiating factor for whether or not a female is going to be successful in the industry or a male is going to be successful in the industry. For a female, it's going to be, can you protect your time? Because for the women in the industry, you have a big thing on your forehead that just basically says, waste my time because I'm beautiful and maybe I'm attracted to you. So there's going to be a lot of men out there who are going to want to just draw on that and pretend to buy houses, pretend to be serious customers, when in reality, they're not really serious about doing any sort of deal like that. They just want to get in your pants, right? And that's something that you're going to have to contend with, and you're going to have to contend with people not taking you seriously sometimes and degrading you as a woman. That sucks. My advice is you have to be someone who can persevere past that. Because if you're weak-willed and you're in that victim mentality of like, well, they won't work with me because blah, 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 it's like you're not going to be able to file any sort of lawsuits or anything like that just because somebody doesn't want to work with you as their representative. So you have to have thick skin as a woman in this industry, or you're not going to make it. You're going to get frustrated, you're going to get upset, you're going to be hurt about every little thing that goes wrong, and you're not going to make it. So that's going to be usually the women's challenge in this industry, getting their foot in the door, is just people wasting their time a lot. Now for the men, the thing is that people are going to look at us more as the slimy salesperson, more as the one that just wants to sell them on something that maybe isn't really good for them. And so we're met with a lot more suspicion in an industry that we're already facing a ton of suspicion. Because realtors get a bad rap. We're one of the lowest ranked people in terms of trust, in terms of what the public views as a reputable job. When I was in the Air Force, I was a space operator, and everyone would kiss the ground that I walked on, even though in reality, my day-to-day activities, I really wasn't doing much. Now I'm like pushing myself to the umpteenth category, but when people hear realtor, they think, oh, whatever, this guy is a freaking grifter. You know what I mean?
Trying to make a quick buck.
Exactly. He's making a quick buck. He's one of these charlatans. We don't know about him. So as a man, you're gonna have to overcome that initial doubt. And so you too are going to have thick skin when it comes to people blowing you off, thinking you're not serious, thinking that you're an inexperienced kid that doesn't really know much, thinking that you're just sitting around, smoking weed all day or something like that. right? So if you don't have the ability to show that you're a professional and show that you're really invested in what you do, you're not gonna be able to survive in this industry either. So those are the differences that I've seen that are the starkest contrast to me.
Hey, I'm gonna look that up after this. But no, I appreciate that breakdown. And hey, from my view, he was fair to both men and women. So he gave the real on both sides, and that's all you can ask is the truth. You know, not sugarcoating it, not want to coddle you. Want to give it to you how it is.
That's right.
That's Brandon. But man, I really appreciate that whole breakdown and everything you touched on. I definitely feel that y'all because I feel a lot of knowledge here. I feel like at some point we might have to give y'all part 2. We'll see how y'all behave. Make sure in this video, like, you comment if you have something to say back. If you agree with something he said, if you disagree, like, let us know. We're curious. But man, Brandon, is there anything that you would want to shout out, or social media or anything? If anybody wants to follow you, if anybody wants to maybe hit you up that's in the Colorado Springs area, get some more info on maybe purchasing a home, first time home buyer, things like that. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, shout out to my real estate team, the Nebula Group. We're going to be coming on the scene super strong here in the next year. So look out for us. We're going to be taking over Colorado Springs. And if you want to visit my Instagram, thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. Give you the shake on camera. And to all the viewers out there, hey, we just want to say thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is you do. But get this video to somebody because there's some gems in here. And we just want to say thank you for watching yet another episode of Transparent Podcast. We'll see you guys later.
Destroy the like button.